Hi, I'm Hannah from Oscha and I'm going to share with you my top tips for ring slings. So I'm going to show you how to get the perfect seat and how to put it on really quickly and really easily. So I've threaded my ring sling, and if you need to know how to thread your ring sling, we'll put a link below this video. So the first tip is to prepare the pouch for your baby. So what I always do is I take the bottom rail, so that's dark blue here, and I pull that through the rings so that there's just enough room for your baby's legs. And then the top part, the top rail, which is the light blue rail, I'm going to just pull that through a little bit and give myself enough room for my baby's body, so you can see there. So depending on how old your baby is will depend on how big a pouch you need. Then I'm going to gather all of the fabric down into almost like a rope, and I'm going to slide those rings up onto the shoulder, and then I'm going to get the baby. So bring baby up onto your shoulder and support them under the bottom, and then I'm going to take my opposite hand and I'm going to go underneath the sling, and that way you can guide their feet all the way through without any problems at all. Now the next tip is to sit your baby right over that rope of the fabric so that you can make sure that they're in a nice deep position, and this will mean that they've got a really good pelvic tilt, which will make sure that they're feeling really nice and comfortable, and they will hold the ring sling in place. So the next tip is to ensure that your rings are really high up on your shoulder. So now is the best time to do that. So I'm going to lift baby under bottom a little bit, I'm going to grab onto my ring sling and I'm going to jiggle it all the way up so that those rings are right on the shoulder there. So the next thing to do is to make sure that you take your ring sling fabric from behind you. So I'm going to reach behind and guide that over my baby's bottom, and by reaching behind it will mean that you'll be able to grab the top rail of your fabric and you won't grab the bottom rail by mistake, which will cause twisting of the ring sling. So I'm going to bring that all the way up. So my next top tip is to take all of your loose fabric from the side under your shoulder all the way towards your tightening system, which is your rings. And once you've brought them over there, it's going to be much easier to pull them through the rings. Now this ring sling hasn't been broken in yet, it's brand new, so it's going to be a little bit more tricky, but by bringing it over, you can pull it through. So another little tip for tightening is to lift baby under bottom a little bit and then pull the fabric through the rings, and that way it will have less tension as you go through. Another little tip for tightening, if you're having a problem with pulling it through the rings, what you can do is lift up a little bit and down. So again, under baby's bottom, up, down and back in the same direction that the fabric came from. So you can do that across the length of the fabric. So now that I've got my baby in my sling, I am going to sort out my own comfort. So I feel like the fabric is kind of gathered right up on my shoulder there, and I want to pull that away and just make it all a little bit more comfortable for me. And so this is the gathered ring sling, so I'm able to pull it all the way across the shoulder. And that way I get a nice comfortable carry and the weight is nice and evenly distributed. So I hope my top tips have helped you today. If you need any more tips with your sling, feel free to contact us on Facebook Messenger or in the comments below, and we will look forward to getting back to you. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.